Hi y'all, my name is Lauren and I am a PhD chemist who's trying to do a No by 2026, and this deck of panning project is one way that I plan on accomplishing that goal. So today we are going to be doing the deck of panning project. So if you are not familiar, it is a project by Emily and Max here on YouTube. And she is a project panner who wanted to have a project that encompassed usage goals. So she started doing this a few years back, and she is still graciously doing this. She just recently updated January 2026 game board, so you should be seeing that now. The face cards will not change throughout the year, but she will rotate the numbered cards as we go every month. So those will be changing, but the face cards will remain throughout the year. And if you've never played before, all you need is a deck of cards and then a makeup inventory that you can pull from. So to get started, I am just going to shuffle the cards a few times. And while I do, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit. So again, my name is Lauren. I am a PhD chemist who recently got a job and discovered that with an influx of disposable income and with a love of skincare and makeup, I was spending far too much money and accumulating far too much in a very short time frame. So I'm trying to do a no by 2026. But in order to do that, I started off with Project Pan 26, which is where I pulled in 26 items to use up this year and try to get things out of my inventory. But in doing that, I knew that I would get bored of just using those items over and over again. So I'm using this project to go through and have usage goals. So typically I just match whatever the card says. So if I pull a number card, that's how many times I have to use it. And if I pull a face card, then I need to use it 10 times. But we're just gonna go ahead and finish shuffling really fast. And then once we're done with that, I will cut the deck on camera. Okay. And then I'm just gonna pull the top 5 cards off the deck. So number 1 is going to be the 4 of diamonds. And then we have the 2 of clubs. Then we're gonna have the King of Hearts, 2 more, the 10 of diamonds, final card, the Ace of Hearts. Okay, so those are gonna be the 5 cards. And now I'm going to take a quick look at the game board. I will make a determination for which each one of these correspond to, because I cannot remember if the red aces are pick 2 or not, but I will be back. The red ace was in fact pick 2 more cards, so we get to start off this project with 6 cards. So the next one up is going to be the 4 of hearts, and then finally we're gonna do the 3 of clubs. And then just to make sure, I'm gonna go ahead and flip my deck over and look, because I have 1 joker in the deck, and I do try to figure out how close to the top it was going to be, because the joker is, are you joking? So it's something you do not necessarily want to pan. And it was 4 from the top. So wouldn't have been able to get it this time, but was closer than what I would like. But anyway, I am going to go figure out what all of these cards stand for, as well as what they can match to in my collection, and then I will be back shortly. That did not take nearly as long as what I thought it would. Okay, so starting off with the hardest prompt for me to find, which was the 4 of diamonds, and this was has pan. So I don't have a lot of things in my collection that have pan, but one thing that I do is this eye primer from Amore Us. So if you see, it's got pan in the side that I use, which is just the nude side. So I'll be doing that. And because I pulled it for the 4 of diamonds, I will be using it 4 times. Okay, next for the 2 of clubs, the prompt was pretty packaging. And so for that, I'm just going to be doing this YSL powder blush. So this is number 44, Nude Lavalier. And since I pulled it for the 2 of clubs, I'll be using this 2 times. Going next, I pulled the King of Hearts. So for that one, the prompt was baby goal. And so I have this tiny little Bobbi Brown vitamin enriched face base primer, and I've used a little bit of it, so it's probably down to about there now. But because I pulled it in for the King of Hearts, that means that I'm going to use it 10 times. Hopefully in 10 times that'll be used up. Obviously less than 10 if I need to use it less than 10 times, but I use very little of it. So 10 times for that. And then for the 10 of diamonds that I pulled next, it is Copycat, which I did have to go to the prompts and figure out what that one meant. But essentially it was copycat somebody else's prompt that they pulled in that you wanted to do. Since it is January, I have not seen anybody else's video yet. But one thing I will say that I saw quite a few people doing last year was this Lawless Forget the Filler. So I have it specifically in the shade Velvet. So it's just Steph is very common for using these, and a couple other videos that I watch commonly use the Lawless Forget the Filler for prompts as well. So I plan on using that 10 times. The next card that I pulled in was the Ace of Hearts, which was in fact pull 2. So starting off, we're going to have 6 prompts for the month of January rather than 5 prompts like you normally do. But the next card that I pulled in was the 4 of Hearts. So for that one, it is a splurge product. And for the splurge product, I'm going to pull in my Dior Forever Blush Soft Filter. So this is the liquid Dior blush that came out last year, and I specifically have it in the shade 02 Peony. So again, because I pulled it in for the 4 of Hearts, I plan on using this 4 times before I can roll it out of this project. And then the final card that I pulled in for a prompt was the 3 of Clubs, which is an indie product. So for the indie product, I'm gonna roll in the Fantasy Cosmetica Celestial Lights highlighting palette. So that specifically looks like this. So it might seem pretty unrealistic for use for highlighters, but once I got it, I wanted to test it and see whether I wanted to keep it in my collection or not. And what I did find was that I actually used this quite a bit whenever I first got it, and I actually had to put it back in my collection so that way I would stop using it. You would think that the colors are very bright and would not be able to be used as a highlighter, but what I actually found is when used very lightly with a fan brush, they actually are extremely pretty and colors that I do typically like and use on a regular basis. So therefore I want to go ahead and use these. And again, I pulled it in for the 3 of Clubs, but because there are 3 different highlights in this palette, I want to use each one 3 times before I can roll it in out of this project. So there will be 9 total uses on this palette before I'm able to roll it out of this project. So those were all 6 of the items that I'm going to be bringing in for my Deck of Panning 2026 start in January. So this video should be going up on the 20th, and then I will check back in on February 20th with a new video, and we can see if I've met my goals and if I'll be able to pull in any new cards, and we can keep playing the game on whether or not I have to do a Are You Joking throughout the year, because at this moment I genuinely don't know what that would be. But off the top of my cuff, I would have to say that I'd probably have to pull in a lipstick, a bullet lipstick, because those are not things that I typically enjoy panning. But again, we'll see if I end up pulling that card. But hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.